I have thoughts. So I took notes. I made a Google Doc and took notes while I was rereading Castle Swimmer. That's where I'm at. You wanna know what's weird about Castle Swimmer is how the prophecies work. I've always found it weird. They don't explain how they get prophecies, and then later on we find out that the Octalia's prophecy, they just made that up. And they were told that, you know, if enough people believe in it, then it has the power of prophecy, you know? Like, it has the same amount of power a prophecy does, you know? Which is a far cry from what prophecies are in other kinds of media, where, you know, it's like a mysterious being, an oracle that gives it to them. But what's really strange about the fact that if people are the ones that are making these prophecies, then why would it be something like, we have to sacrifice our queen, we have to sacrifice our prince? And if the prophecies work in a way that, like, as long as enough people believe in it, that it has power, then why is it that everyone in Siren's kingdom believed that Kappa was the one they had to sacrifice? Kappa was the one who had to die by Siren's hand. And yet, in the end, what the prophecy originally said was that Siren was going to die, and that was what had to happen. They could not change the prophecy, regardless of how many people thought and didn't even have a doubt in their mind that it was Kappa who had to die. Why is that? Also, I find it really interesting that we've seen two situations where a kingdom was cursed by a minigod because they killed the minigod, and they were inflicted with kind of something like an illness or something that was killing them off, or, you know, making them lose their humanity. And in that situation, their prophecy said they needed to sacrifice someone. My question is, if people just make up prophecies and it can be whatever they want, why would they choose for it to be a sacrifice? Oh, we need to sacrifice our queen. Oh, we need to sacrifice our prince. No one wanted to do that. Why would they choose? Why would their prophecy say that? Like, how do they decide what their prophecy says? Because in the situations like where they go to Queen Nee's kingdom and they have the multiple kingdoms there, you see these other prophecies, and it's like they just wanted something from Kappa. In one case, they said, oh, Kappa will tell us the future, and then Kappa was like, you'll sneeze in the future. And that's all he really needed to say, which is like random. And then with the worms that were like eating the people's hair, like they could have figured out how to fix that on their own, but they just didn't want to. And they knew that there was this magical being out there that supposedly had all the knowledge of the sea and of the surface god. So they were like, well, he'll save us. And I mean, he did, but all he did was be like, he gave them basic knowledge about how these beings work, and like the fact that they use hair, and they were just like, you know, they had so much hair that they were just constantly stealing hair from them. He's like, okay, we'll just give them hair and they'll leave you alone. Right? If prophecies can be whatever you want, then why? Why would it? And again, with Siren's prophecy, most people didn't even know about it. So if it's, you know, enough people believe in it, then it has power. But most people didn't know about it, and eventually the prophecy was changed, and that's when they started talking about it enough, and to the point that they all believed that Siren was going to kill Kappa, and that wasn't enough to change the prophecy. And in the end, it was Siren's blood that's the key to breaking the curse. So the prophecy has to be played out exactly how it's said. Why is that? Why is that if the power comes from the people's belief? Maybe, just maybe. I don't know though. This could be it. Not it, but do you guys think? Considering it's in the two cases we've seen so far, where a kingdom has been cursed, the answer has been a sacrifice. Is it possible that because the curse comes from the power of the god of the trenches, the prophecy comes directly from the surface god? Maybe not like he spoke to them, but like he kind of influenced them in a way. Right? Or like, you know, there could be like an oracle out there. We don't know yet. Anyway, this is a very long way of saying, what have we seen in common with Siren's prophecy and with what happened to Kappa? So we know for a fact that Siren's blood was able to temporarily break the curse. The only reason that it didn't permanently break the curse was because the prophecy was there, and the prophecy said it needed to be completed in a specific way, so that's why the prophecy brings the curse back. What happened when Kappa cut off his scales? He bled, right? And he just like bled more and more until he had no more scales left. And then the curse started coming back. And we also know that Siren has to give more blood every time to break the curse than the previous time. The prophecy brings the curse back because Siren doesn't die, though. Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Do you guys see where I'm going with this? Please tell me you see where I'm going with this. I don't think Kappa was supposed to survive that prophecy. I think, because what other reason would there be for that to not work? In every other situation where Kappa has completed a prophecy, he's made up something and it's worked out. He has done vaguely what the prophecy told him. He told someone to complete a prophecy that said, "Oh, you're going to tell us the future." He said, "You're going to sneeze in the future." Like, why is it that he did exactly what the prophecy said? He cut off his own scales and gifted it to these people who were inflicted with an illness. And that wasn't enough. Plus, can we talk about how what they were going through is very similar to what Siren and the people in the god's mouth went through, where they were inflicted with something that was killing them off. Killing them off, making them lose their humanity, regardless. They didn't explain where the illness came from, and I think that's because it was a similar situation where they were cursed. And we've seen 2 times where a curse had to be broken with a sacrifice. I don't know, call me crazy, but I think the reason that he failed that prophecy was because he wasn't supposed to survive. How those details work out, I don't know for sure, but I can't think of any other reason why these people would die off, except for another one, which again, it hurts me very deeply, is the fact that maybe it was a punishment for Kappa. Maybe it was because the guilt of him failing that prophecy was the reason that he continued to complete prophecies, right? Maybe it was a punishment because he was trying to stop. That's the only other explanation I could come up with, because why? Why would that be the only case? And another thing that is kind of messing me up is the fact that we know that mini-gods hold curses, and mini-gods are corrupted by fossils, and the only way to slow down that corruption is blood. And we don't know of an instance of a prophecy being fulfilled and it working permanently, but we do know for a fact that in a case where a minigod cursed a kingdom and there was a prophecy to be fulfilled that was a sacrifice, we know that with Siren, he was able to bleed, but he has to bleed more every time, and his blood is enough to break the curse temporarily. And blood is the only thing that can slow down the corruption of minigods. So maybe those prophecies are just a sham. And if Siren died anyway, it wouldn't have completed the prophecy. The reason he needs to give more blood is because, the minigods need more blood to prevent them from being corrupted. And, when they come to their senses from being corrupted, maybe they just are like, "Oh, we don't want to curse you." And that's also could be a reason as to why the curse goes away for a longer period of time, because the corruption is stopped for a longer period of time. I hope I gave you all a crisis, because this is killing me. This is killing me. I am unwell.